Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you doing today?
Hey, Tiffany. I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. I am excited to have you. So, we normally start and kick it off by me sharing with people that we are doing business spotlights. We're doing business spotlights because I think it's an important way for us to introduce ourselves. What better way when you can do something digitally, do it virtually, share it with share with business colleagues, and it's a good opportunity for people to one get to know us better, and then two learn a little bit more about what we're passionate about and what we're working on, the resources that we have, the support that we have. And it's an overall way for us to celebrate one another. So I'm super excited to have you here today.
I'm excited. Thank you for doing this.
Yay. So I'm going to jump right in. Like I'm going to go ahead and get us started. This is the first question I like to ask. When did you start doing what you do?
Ooh, um, Tiffany, I am who I've always been, actually. I think I've just been growing and maturing in that. And as I connect with people that I've been friends with for 50 years or close to 50 years, and I talk to them, and they reflect on who I am, I've been the same person. And so, it started in high school and same things in college and afterwards. And really, someone had to ask me to pay me for me to even consider thinking about starting a business. And so that's what I did. And I'm always trying to help and find a solution and problem solve and work through a situation. So I think I've always been like this. But when did I do it? I officially started my business in 2003. And I used to do it on the side and with other things and went full time in 2014.
That is excellent. I love that you say that it's a lifetime, right? And that's going to lead us naturally into the next question. So, why do you do what you do?
I don't know that it's my why exactly, but I will say that my why about why I do what I do is I'm really just internally passionate about helping people be the best they can be. I am very passionate about people seeing the outcome they desire, and that can look differently for a lot of people. But when people have a great idea, something that they want to really put out in the world, and I always say that they're kind of pregnant with some possibility. I love being a part of that. I love helping people see a clear path to where they're headed. They're stumped. They don't want to, they're scared maybe. There's fear. They don't want to do the thing that they think is the thing. And they lay up thinking about it all night. They write it down. They've had it in some closed off space. They don't want to share it with anyone. And I love being able to say that is so possible.
That is amazing. So let me share with you. I tell people this. I start the interview that way because one, I want everyone to know that you are an expert in what it is that you do. That's why I ask you, when did you start doing it? The next step is your why, because people don't really care about what it is that you do until they know why you're doing it. And then now I feel like we can draw people into the conversation because they know that you've done this a while, so you're an expert and you have some passion behind it, right? So my next question is, if you were to give us a passion pitch, right? And that passion pitch is about your business, who you are and what you do, why you do it. And if you had to give us all the oomph and the love that you have, what would that sound like?
Ah, Tiffany, this is hard because this comes up in every coaching class and coaching program. And I coach people and I ask the question and it still changes. And I tell you, it changes based on kind of what I'm doing in that season. Um, but I'm passionate about helping visionaries and big dreamers bring their dreams to life, so that they can either make a strong impact in the world, or they can make the money they desire, they can have the life they want to live, whatever that goal is. And so it tends to, if I niche it down, it's entrepreneurs, it's solopreneurs, it's nonprofit leaders, it's decision makers, people who coach and train other people.
I think that was a perfect answer, even if it does change in the season, because that is very much who you are. I see you in the space helping lots of different people for lots of different reasons. But the thing that I found that is always the same is that they are visionaries, and they are people who have a strong passion to do something or do good or advocate in some kind of way. I have always seen that pattern with you, that you really do help people extend their reach in the world, especially in the event that they are doing something that's really good. And so I'm very proud of you in that way. So thank you for sharing. So
Thank you.
this is my next question. And this one I think you're going to absolutely love. How do you want the world to be different because you lived in it?
Ooh. I want the world to be more different as it relates to connecting people. And, for me, it's not about, I was going to say the words kind of loving on each other, but that's not an accurate way to say it in terms of how I really feel about it. Um, because I can not necessarily, I love people, but I cannot necessarily like you that much necessarily. But if I believe that you're good at your core, I believe that you're fair and honest, that you have good intention. Um, I want people to feel like I helped them have permission to share that out in the world. And I think about my own mortality at my age right now. And I think that, when I go and there's some celebration of life, which I'm appointing different people to make sure that those things happen, Tiffany. Yeah, because that's how I do. But I really I think of all the pockets of people that are going to be in the room. I do believe that people will be surprised that I sat in spaces with people that I sit in spaces with. Um, I think that a lot of people don't know the people that I connect with and the people that I work with and I help. And so um, I think the legacy will be consistently that I cared, I showed up, that I was discreet with people's biggest dreams and desires, whether they ever did them or not, that I was a cheerleader for it, that I held space for it, that I was, some people are going to say that I was on them, but they all say it in a positive way. I mean, it is true. And I can be very, whatever that word is. But it's because I'm holding space. I want that for that person almost as much as they want it. I used to want it more and I got some balance about that. And so I've learned now how to, I can't want it more than you, but I can hold space so that when you're ready, we can make it happen. And I just want testimonies that I cared, I was there, I listened, I helped, I supported, um, I undergirded, I pushed, I prodded, I kicked people's butts, and then I loved on them and they got it done. And I hope that their lives are better. I hope that they're doing the things that they want to be doing. I hope that they're making the money they want to be making, or they have the relationships that they want to be having, because of something we did together and because I was in their life.
I 100% agree with all of the things that you say, because I tell people, if you gonna go be in Dorita's presence, she is gonna get you together, and she is going to get you all the way together. She is going to ask you the hard questions. She's going to have the difficult conversations, and then she's going to love on you, which you do. And I appreciate that, because there are some people that are not comfortable enough with themselves to push the way that you push, and to show people that I know, because I've known you, and I'm so blessed to have you to be a part of my life. What I understand is that when you push people, it's because you see something there. It's not just because you're pushing for no purpose because that's your personality, or it's really because you see something there that you want to uncover within that person. And I have gotten to a point where I've learned to say to myself that if she sees that, How could she see that for me and I don't see that for me? And so there's an accountability that comes when people are in the spaces that you're holding for them. So I just want to thank you for that, because I think that that's needed. And I do know that that is definitely your legacy. You're living in your legacy now. And I appreciate that about you. I'm all teary-eyed, y'all. Everybody that watches, they know I'm a crybaby, but I love you very much for that part and for holding space for people. And so that moves me into the next question. If you had to give me a visualization, so if we're in a room and you were asking people to do, if we were creating a visualization and you told everyone to close their eyes and you were giving them your idea of progression for your business or for the community, what does progression look like for D.L. Hatchett and Associates?
So I assume this is a team of people who care about my vision and who care where I'm headed. So would that be accurate in the
Yes.
question? All
Yes.
right. Because I actually would say something a little bit different to other people. But in a room full of people where I was sharing and being transparent and being open and honest with people, um, I'm a person who would invite them to close their eyes and to um, imagine what's possible and to see that I'm currently in a space where I'm a solopreneur. I have shifted and moved into a space where I use contractors. Um, but I see this going in a direction where through contracts, government contracts, school district contracts, I think corporate contracts, large entity contracts, that I will begin to be an employer of choice, that we have a nice space where we gather. I've always wanted a space where there's additional space to incubate other growing businesses. For so long, I haven't really needed the space, but it has not been something that made sense in my business budget. But I want to create a safe space for people to have that and to be able to start and to grow their business and to have the resources of things that they needed um, as they're waiting on that first big break. I invite people to see how right now it may have been a zigzag in the process, but it's all going in the same direction. It's going into helping people in larger spaces. We're logistical. I love complex situations. I love problem solving. So it needs to be a space where people can freely think and ideate and create and move forward and be free to just share what they think is the dumb idea. But they also know that it's not a dumb idea, but they have to be willing to want to really progress and develop in it. And I just see it's a place of development and progression for everyone. And in that, my business is going to progress.
I'm going to take a moment and just breathe that in. I actually chose to close my eyes when you started. I wanted to visualize that for myself because I want to see that for you. I believe that visualizations are really how we get to where it is that we want to go. We have to believe it. We have to see it. And I also believe that if two or more people get in the room and they have that same vision and close their eyes, they can see it. They can feel it. They can actually positively help you with reaching that. And I know that you will have all of those things. So I like to ask this question. Yes.
Yeah. Well, and here's what I also know. and I like to share this, especially if people who don't know me see this, because I'm aware that sometimes without knowing me, there could be a perception about me. And I work on that. I think about that. I mean, and once people know me, they tell me what it is, and it's consistent. So it is so, to some degree. And I combat that. But one thing I know that I do, because people don't understand it, is that I honor the fact that my plans have not been God's plans ever in my life. And I can relate so many stories to what I thought I wanted and what I ended up with, and how what God gave me was so much better. And so when you say that and I visualize, it's in general what I want to see. And it's really kind of more ethereal in that way, because I just know that I'm headed for bigger and better and more impact. And I honestly don't know what it looks like. And I go in flow, and I wake up every day and just say, I'm in flow. I'm in flow with whatever direction you're taking me in. And I try to release that whole, like, it's got to go the way I think and I envision it to go. All I want is the outcome. I want to do good and help people and make an impact and live a life that's balanced and comfortable for myself, ultimately. And so I've really kind of stopped telling God what it looks like. And I've been letting that roll into my life a lot more. So sometimes when people are thinking I'm going a certain way, I'm not. I'm really just trying to be obedient to what I believe is happening in my space at that time. And and I'll pivot now, especially after the pandemic. That's what I learned, how to pivot. And I'll pivot in a minute.
That is, yes, I agree. I share with people visualization activities a lot, just because in general, I realize that sometimes people have no idea what direction they want to take, right? They literally don't. So so in some cases, people have not planned, right? Or people can't see past all the other things that are, like whatever it is, whatever the distractions are that are going on, whatever you may have heard that might have been a deterrent in your life, any of those roadblocks that happen, right? That physically stop your being from moving forward. Sometimes if we could just take a moment to get really quiet and even visualize, like you said, just the parameters even, right? Like this might not be what I end up with, but this is a good starting place. And having a good idea of, you know what, I'm going to strive for this and be obedient. And then I'm ready and receptive for the more, because I even visualize myself in the space, right? So I appreciate you sharing. With that, my follow-up question is going to be, I'd love to hear you talk a little bit about, this is a community-based question, and you can tie this to your company however you'd like. But I'd like to ask business owners their thoughts on legacy, mentorship, and succession. And you can choose any of those or all of them, but legacy, mentorship, and succession. What are your thoughts? How are you feeling about that?
I resonate more with mentorship, primarily because in business, I know that there's different reasons people are in business. And so some people are in business for legacy, which means, there's an intention behind how they pass it, and succession or selling it. Some people are in business where it's a lifestyle business, meaning it funds your lifestyle. It's who you are, it's what you do. Um, Based on where I'm at, and I have success in what I do a lot just because it's me. I really envision my business, I'm going to say, more as a lifestyle. It's the thing that I love to do. I don't know that there's an intellectual property that I sell when this is all said and done or anything like that. But so I'm attracted to the word mentorship because I think it allows people to learn what they can do for themselves. I think that it's cliche, but we are the answer we've been waiting for. We really are. And I think when people finally get that in their own life, they say the day that you learn why you were born and what your purpose was, that whole statement there is, it's life changing. And I was that person always looking for the next job, like the next who was going to hire me. And it took me longer. When I think about it, I wish I had learned this lesson earlier, but I think in its proper time. And so I didn't feel I had mentorship, and no one stopped me and said, I see something in you and you should think about this.
Mm.
So I did just move through whatever was like, oh, that sounds good. That sounds good. With no purpose. I didn't know where I was going. And now that I understand how that works, I'm always sharing it with people. Always trying to get people to see that in themselves. Always, my nieces and my nephews, I'm like, okay, you go to work every day and you get this check. And I think that's great. Entrepreneurship isn't for everyone. But here's what I want you to be thinking about every day is if you got laid off and they said, we're going to bring one person back as a contractor, what would make you be that person?
Mm.
And so don't go to work. Don't just go clock in, do your stuff, go to lunch, go home. Go in there and like look around, see what people are doing, see what skill sets you lack, see what things you need to know. What do you need to know about yourself? How would you do this if you had to survive? If they decided that W-2s were going away, can you make it?
Mm.
Are you going to, flip out because somebody's not handing you a job? And so go to work, get that check all day. It's hard being an entrepreneur, but don't get surprised and don't get caught off guard if you have to do something for yourself. And we bumped into COVID, and that was the example I was trying to share with people. We're here now. And so, what are you going to do? And for me, those were the best 2 years in my business. And I don't mean that to be flippant about the world or the death or anything. I'm just saying about a business conversation and mentorship. And I jumped into spaces, I paid money for coaching. I asked people to help me and I helped people. I think it's key. I think that coaches have coaches, mentors have mentors. People have to rely on each other because we need to close the gap in how long it takes us to learn and move and do it differently and be successful at it.
Thank you for sharing that. I absolutely love that because you talked a lot about development. And that's what mentorship does. It provides people with development. And I'm always telling people that professional development is important, but you have to start with personal development, because before you can even think about how you can impact the world or a job or anything like that, you have to know, like, what do you need to develop in you to even take it to that other space in your career or, leadership or even in professional development. So thank you very much. This has been an amazing conversation. If people get to know us more, they would like, I have so many more questions I want to ask you. Like, I really do. I was like, it kind of maybe go, oh, I should ask her this. So I would like to invite you back. I really think that you and I should have a conversation about overcoming and pivoting in a crisis situation, because the two of us were blessed that our businesses did grow. I will also say that I'm very proud of us because we literally, we had a whole nother outlook on crisis than what other people did. And we talked about it and we supported each other. And we we cried together, we laughed together, we hugged, we invested together, right? When it looked like, wait, I don't know, but it worked out because we took a chance on ourselves. So I think we should come back and have that kind of, bootstrap kind of conversation. I think that there's some entrepreneurs that could really, really benefit from that. But I want to take a little bit of time to ask you. So tell us, what do you have going on? Because we want to know how we can support you. That's the first thing. And then also share with us how we could find you.
Oh, okay. So, support looks different right now because of, I'm in the event space. I don't do traditional social events. I'm much more of a meeting planner, conference planner, more of a strategist, um, you know, expos, fairs, things that have lots of moving parts. But as you know, Tiffany, for the next year, I'm working with the men's Final Four. And so that's created a different space for me in my business. And so, um, I'm doing that. How can people help me in there? It's different. It's really more of availability. It's more of getting to know people, to know what they do and how that works. And there are a lot of parameters and rules and boundaries and things like that based on who the client is, which is the NCAA. So, if Dorita Hatchett was doing this on her own volition and there weren't all of those things, there'd be so many people I could hook up and I mean by hook up meaning just connect, because they're right. It's a good opportunity. People could kill it. So, it's a daily struggle for me keeping that under wraps and under check and not like wanting to bust in there and go, I got all the people for this. Let's call all these people. So it's really when it is preparation meets opportunity, this thing right here. So I'm sitting in a room, something will happen and come up, and someone will say, "Do you know someone who can do that? Could you call them right now?" So all the years of knowing the people and who they are and what they do is what I need to know. I need to know who you are. You don't have to say it in the context of like hire me for this thing, but I just need to get to know people for who they really are and what they really can do. Um, in my business, good referrals, but understanding that some things I'm doing where I'm taking on projects a little bit later that start a little bit later, not taking on things here and now. I appreciate referrals right now because at least I can have a conversation. There may be someone on my team that can help them. And so I am interested in continuing my business through this process. So I don't want that to dry up. I definitely need leads and referrals and traffic. So
Pipeline.
they a pipeline for sure. My link tree is DL Hatchett, which has all of my social media handles and where I'm located and my website. So Linktree, linktr.ee/DL Hatchett is how people can reach me.
So before we roll out of here, Madam President, it is
That's wild.
it
That's
is
wild.
it is the people who love you and enjoy you and support you in your business, colleagues, jobs. We're supposed to edify you. So I know you were going to try to scoot out of here without that, but I'm going to bring that to the forefront. So you
Well,
have
yeah. So this is the 25th year of the Houston chapter of the International Live Event Association. It's a global organization. If people have been looking it up, which is interesting. I wish there was a way I could track that. ILEAHub.com, ILEAHEB.com. And it is a global network of people in the event industry. It's more, it's probably like 70% vendor side of it, which is all the people who provide the things out there in the world for events. And so we connect with each other because we show up in spaces. Like I said, if I were the local organizing committee myself, I could put a lot of people right in all the positions, in all the spots, in all the spaces. And that's what that is intended to do. It's networking so you can do that with each other. But in the 25 years, I will say, I'm the first African American, which is saying things on both sides of the fence, but um, I appreciate it. And I started out as a young professional in the 90s in Houston, and I used to go to things and I used to see people and I didn't know, how you look at people and you don't know how they got there. When you walk in a room for the first time and there's a president and a board and all these things are happening and you don't know a name, you don't know a soul in the room, and you're looking and you're kind of doing this. And then 25 years later, you're the president. And I believe in legacy. This is a good tie back to your question. I believe in legacy and I believe in history. And so I reached out to the very first president. And she didn't know me back when I was young and silly and didn't even know what the questions were. And she didn't remember me or anything. And I invited her to come induct me because that was a moment for me. And I always honor those little things that you can do. And she left that place reconnected. And that was the intent. And all day today, I've had people that we had gaps in our history who was president. Um, they were reaching out to me on LinkedIn today. So I feel really blessed that I'm going to put that history back together. And whatever it was that made people stray away, that's what I do well. I'm going to fix it for people and I'm going to rebuild this organization. And it's like Obama, you inherit a mess and I'm going to leave it better than I found it.
I just want everybody to know that my cheeks hurt. Like literally, my cheeks hurt. My cheeks hurt because I've been smiling this entire spotlight. I'm so proud of you. I'm so honored to know you. You have helped me grow as a business owner. You have helped me grow even more importantly as a woman. And I appreciate that about you. So I wanted to tell you thank you very much. I am excited to watch all the amazing things that you are going to be doing coming up soon.
Thank you. And I just want you to know that I appreciate the opportunity to be on this team. this is sort of the reciprocal growth moment for me and you. We've talked about this kind of work for a long time. We've talked about how to get it and what to do. And I'm so proud of you for what you're doing. I'm so proud of you for the way you're doing it. The way you're doing it is so Tiffany. And it would be the way that I would do it if I had it, but you got it first. And I'm so excited about that. And so it's like I just said a minute ago, I'm watching you so that when I get mine, I know how to do it better. I know how to be better. Um, I already would have done some different things, and I love what you're doing. And I'm like, oh no, that's the way I would do that. And so all the little things that you're starting to do, I just love the way that you don't have to do this. You could take this contract and still service it. But what you're doing is showing a whole bunch of people who don't have what you have how to get it, and when they get it, how to serve it. And that's what's going to help all of us keep those contracts and make that money and have the lives that we want because of this experience. And I just want you to know that I see it all. I see it. I see it. I see you. Thank you.
Okay, I'm not crying on my own interview, but I will say to you that I have learned in my life that whenever things are not going well for me, I always ask God. I literally say, who can I serve today? And the minute that I go out and be a blessing to someone, my blessings pour in. And sometimes it's even just about knowing that I can't keep focusing on me all the time. A lot of time, it's not about us all the time. Matter of fact, most of the time, it is not about us, right? Most of the time, it is about those that are around us because we are connected. And for me, it doesn't serve me well if I am growing and I am learning and I am eating and I am doing whatever I'm doing. And those, if I can't look to the left of me and then to the right of me and see people who I value and I love, and they're not there with me, I feel like I've done the space a disservice. So this is genuinely who I am, and I'm moving in the most authentic me that I can. It is not easy building a team, and I had to learn that, right? It's really not. But I will tell you that I would have it no other way. I have people on this team that I'm willing to take the bumps and bruises with. I am willing to learn from. I am tasked with leading this, but I'm not the only leader. I am learning to put people in the places and utilizing them for their gift. What are they best at? How can they bring value to spaces? And then hopefully my only ask for people is that if we get to this place, go back for other people, pay it forward, help other
Yeah.
people. So I thank you.
Yeah, for
We are
sure.
gonna wrap it up. This was an amazing conversation. I feel like crying, y'all. I think I just might have had like I literally, like, my eyes are watering. But I love it. I love it. I love it. This is what I love to do. If you are watching this and you don't know who I am, my name is Tiffany Hicks, and I am the CEO of VRE Training Solutions. And I am excited about bringing people together so that we can make a difference globally, and also so that we can help each other with just doing what we love to do, making money at it, and more importantly for me, creating jobs. So I always end most of my broadcasts with telling people, whatever it is that you are doing in your life, it is so important that you be intentional, because all the things that you want for yourself and for those around you, and all the things that you need have intention tied to them. So until the next time I see you all, bye.